I oppose the following: an overriding ethical obligation to protect and preserve extraterrestrial microbial life and ecosystems should be incorporated into international law. Contention 1. We cannot value microbial life over everything else. The resolution specifically states overriding, which means that we would be valuing this law over everything else, including humans and the problems that we have to face on our own planet. Packer in 2015 said, "I think that Mars could be very valuable for human survival, locating a place where we can go that's not Earth, but is similar enough to Earth that we can make a life there." The survival of humanity is in many ways more important than microbes. I think that if we're extending rights to non-human species, we would probably be better served extending those rights on Earth to species that are intelligent and we know feel pain. We should begin there and not necessarily be so quick to grant those rights to an alien species simply because they're alien. So first of all, we have to see that we have to think of ourselves first instead of the extraterrestrial microbial life that could, for example, be found on Mars. There is simply no point in caring about extraterrestrial microbial life when we have our own problems to focus on here on Earth. Another important thing is that this card brings up is the fact that Mars could be used as a place we go should on Earth ever become uninhabitable, which is a real possibility because of the dangerous effects of climate change. However, if we follow this law, we will not be able to go to Mars because we will be too caught up on caring about tiny microbial life. You must negate because there is no point in protecting and preserving microbial life over everything else. Contention 2. Contamination concerns. NASA and other space agencies have a long history of trying to protect extraterrestrial life by adhering to policies requiring clean spacecraft. But a human mission to Mars will present unusual contamination concerns. Preserving the integrity of indigenous Martian life may prove to be tremendously challenging, burdensome, and costly. So the effort we put into protecting Martian life will be a matter of how much we care and why. We certainly care for scientific reasons, but how far are we willing to go? And what about the non-scientific value of possible Martian microbes, PBS? Contention 3. Microbial life will have no scientific value. Lupisa in 2005 said, "Preserving the integrity of indigenous Martian life may prove to be tremendously challenging, burdensome, and costly." Sandra Wilkamshi, professor of astronomy and mathematics at Cardiff University, has studied comets and interplanetary dust since the early 1970s. He said, "We are really quite ignorant about microbial life on our own planet, let alone assuming that we know how microbes from another planet, such as Mars, would react here. The study of astrobiology and its limitations is still in its infancy as a science." What these cards are saying is that we cannot look to microbial life for any scientific value whatsoever. Protecting and preserving microbial life will not be of a good use. So now moving on to my opponent's case. In their harm 1, they talked about how it's going to be detrimental to international cohesiveness and how it allows for universal protection. But we cannot guarantee that everyone is going to follow this law and that everyone obeys this law. We have to put ourselves first. And we can't put these random life forms from aliens first. And in their harm 2, they talked about how it's going to cost lots of money. And they talked about how it could be used to help our planet. And he said that it's a duty to the planet we already have. But this goes hand in hand with my contention 1. I say this exact thing where I talk about how we can't value microbial life over everything else. So therefore, Judge, their harm 2 agrees with me, so they agree with me on my side. In their harm 3, they say his tagline is, "What right do we have to play God?" and how it's going to offset the balance of nature and the destruction that's going to cause on our planet. But this goes hand in hand with my contention 3 because I talk about offsetting the balance and I talk about my tagline is